Da 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 da.
This is the podcast on a budget, everyone.
Hi guys, this is the WinBeta podcast for the week of May 8th, 2015, and this is the UK election special. No, I'm just kidding. Before we lose all of our viewers, we're going to talk about Windows 10 like we do every week and all the other latest and greatest Microsoft news. So as always, I am one of your hosts, Sean, and I am here with Zach. Say hi, Zach.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest Windows news, specifically talking about Windows 10 being the last version of Windows. They're staggering the launch of it. There's a new merchandise store which says it's for employees, but it's actually not, because we can order stuff and ship it here for way too much money. Win32 apps, Spartan, Edge, Surface 3, and all the other banter and fun that you come here for. So we appreciate you tuning in, watching live, or however you are watching us this week for this episode. So we're going to go ahead and get things just started off with Windows 10 being the last version of Windows, in a sense. Obviously, it'll still be updated. So go ahead. Yeah,
this is an interesting story because this isn't really... They've been hinting at this for a while now, that Windows 10 is the last version. And I put last version in air quotes because it's, in a sense, it's the last big release, but it's not the last version. They will constantly be updating this version of Windows 10. Who's the guy that said it? Let's see. Jerry Nixon. He said during the Ignite conference, right now we're releasing Windows 10, and because Windows 10 is the last version of Windows, we're all still working on Windows 10. And I believe they will always be working on Windows 10, as Windows 10 is the last version. So there won't be a for at least for the long future, I guess. There will not be a Windows 11 or Windows 12 or Windows... I was going to say a codename of Windows. A new version of Windows. It will just be Windows 10, I guess Windows 10.1, 10.2, etc., etc. And I think this is good for the long run, as it allows everybody to catch up to Windows 10. It gives them a lot of time, I guess. And Microsoft are aiming for that 1 billion Windows 10 devices within 3 years. And since Windows 10 will be free upgrade for the first year, I assume they will extend that to just be free anyway. I would hope so. Then again, everybody said that about Windows 8 upgrade and they didn't do that. So we never know what they're going to do with Windows 10. But so Windows 10 will forever be the updated version of Windows. We've got things like Redstone in the pipeline and update 1 and 2, etc., etc. So yeah, Windows 10 is technically the last version of Windows, and I think it's a good thing.
Well, yeah, I don't think they should just keep coming out with new numbering systems. I mean, you could argue it's not... At a certain point, you're not making a fundamentally different operating system. You're updating, adding features, that sort of thing. Unless it's a failure, I don't see them going away from this, because Windows 10 has all the features that you want. I don't know, for me, at least the ones from their perspective that they think consumers want, that they want to provide. And you sit there and say, well, what are they going to do that would make it fundamentally different? They're not going to change the universal code. They're not going to move away from Windows apps that work across all the different devices. And so if you had another one where you still had universal code that was the same code as Windows 10, because they're not going to have the developers actually make all these apps and then somehow switch it to a different set of code. It wouldn't make any sense. So if you changed it enough to do that, it wouldn't be Windows 10 anymore, and you lose all this goodwill that you've been working on. So the only downside is eventually, as some people have pointed out, I think it might start to get a little silly if you get like 10.10, 10.11, 15, whatever.
They might start using words like Windows 10 trees. I can't think of... I don't know. Windows 10, I was going to say Vienna, but Vienna was the Windows 10.
They are in the evergreen state, so yeah, they could do that.
They could start doing mountains. No, that's what Apple doing it. They could not do
Yeah, you can't
they do cats. Oh, they do mountains now, don't they? They used to do cats.
Yeah, they guess they ran out of...
I'm sure Microsoft did restaurants, like, in weird places. Like, I think Longhorn was a strange restaurant in a strange place.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
The whole Windows 10 is the last version of Windows is more of a marketing thing, really, because it's not going to be the only version of Windows from now on. There will be newer editions, I guess, under the Windows 10 name.
Right. Yeah, like Redstone, like you said, and that's kind of it's similar to 8.1, right? It's it changes things, but it's not a different operating
Yeah,
system.
but they ended up just treating Windows 8.1 as a new OS really. At first, I was like, oh no, it's only an upgrade. Trust us. But then they're kind of more like, oh yeah, Windows 8.1, the new version of Windows. So
Yeah, I guess.
I guess they'll do the same with Redstone and whatever else, Bluestone, Blackstone, after.
Just different colors. Amethyst. Windows 10 Amethyst.
Yeah. So Windows 10 is the definitive version of Windows, some might call it, constantly being updated for you every day.
Exactly. Yeah. And Windows 10 is the last operating system that's going to come out and obviously be updated, but it's not all coming out at once because Windows 10 is going to have a staggered launch. I'm not really sure. I would say this was their initial plan. But it is the plan that they're going with now. So some of this is speculation, obviously. We don't have like official dates that they've nailed themselves to. But what it sounds like is going to happen is Windows 10 for like desktops and tablets is going to come out sometime this summer.
Yeah, that's definitely happening. So Windows 10 desktops will come out first, 100%.
Right. And then Windows 10 for phones looks like it's in the pipeline for sometime this fall, possibly lining up with a flagship release or 2 flagship releases. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen rumors, that sort of thing, about 940s and 940 XLs. So hopefully these can all kind of come together at the same time. And then other operating system or other versions, I guess you'd say, of the operating system like HoloLens and Xbox, probably coming out much later. The Xbox One version of Windows 10, as our article states, says while Windows 10 on Xbox One is going to be a big deal, bringing a full slate of Windows 10 apps to the gaming console and probably a host of new features that weren't a launch event. So it'll just be like a software update. And I think that they're reasonable. The interface, it's not as drastic of a shift. It is in terms of coding, but in terms of user base, I'm not sure that Xbox deserves some giant event. Really, HoloLens probably will, just so they can show off their new technology. So I guess it's the timeline that, but I guess the real question is this a good thing or a bad thing? What do you think, Zach?
I reckon they would have made a bigger impact if they released everything. I say everything, Windows 10 and Windows 10 for phones at once. But if you've seen the current state of Windows 10 for phones, it is appalling. It is so bad, and it's kind of the reason why we haven't had a new build this week, which we were supposed to get a build last week with the Office apps. Well, Office in the store, because the current build I don't believe has the store beta. But that's coming in the next build, which will allow you to download the Office preview apps and so on. But that hasn't come, and that's mainly because the builds are terrible right now. They are really bad. I mean, what builders do they have currently? 10,052. That's a bad build. And the new improved start screen with the closer tiles, that's got a lot of work to do. They've got a lot of work to do on that. So that's probably the reason why they haven't released the build yet. So it's a good thing.
They're not. Yeah,
they're
not just bad. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a good thing they're waiting, I guess, for RTM later this year for phones.
Yeah, well, it's not like they're just bad because they're missing features or something like that. They're just not even close to stable. They don't even work.
If you've used 52, you understand build 10,052. You understand the pain, I guess, of using the phones for preview install. So they're just going to work on improving it, and which is why it's going to take longer. They're giving themselves breathing room, I guess, to make this operating system one that they can actually release.
Yeah, I mean, this is like we just said, it's the last Windows. It's the last version of Windows that's going to be coming out. They can't go out there with some horrible operating system and say, "Yeah, come switch and we'll update it later." No, they need to say, push it off for a while and say, "Desktops is solid. That we've been working on that, prioritizing that. Then we'll bring out for phones. Things come, later, that sort of thing." I think a hidden benefit, I guess, like I said, I really don't think this was their initial plan, but developers might actually build some apps because it's on the desktop, so that when Windows 10 for phones comes out, they'll already be there. And so I actually think that it's not every app in the world, but there might be some actual side benefits to this happening in this staggered fashion, I think. Because you might have someone like a banking app just say, well, we're going to have a Windows 10 app eventually anyway. Windows 10 for desktop's already here. Might as well make it now. They put it on there, and then when the phone comes, they can say, oh, this one of the I was reading this somewhere. So this is somebody else's idea. I just think it's really good. And they said that yeah, they said, oh look, Windows, it's already working. The universal app model is already working. Look at these great partners that have already joined the Windows 10 universal family of apps. And so if that happens, I actually think it could be a net positive.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think that's a good thing. Same thing with Xbox One. You already saw the model working. I'm really excited. I mean, genuinely, for Windows 10. I honestly, I see some of these just little things like the USA Today app. They made that in an hour for the Xbox One. They already had an app for like phones and tab. And then they just, or was it for, I think they made it for tablets. And then in an hour, they took that code and made the video only section of USA Today. And that's really impressive. Like that's like the perfect example of this, which is why they used it to build this app model. And so I hope that with a few months between desktops and phone, we're going to have some apps actually made in that interim.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm excited for Windows 10 as well. I think it's going to be great when it's finally ready, because it's not really ready yet. Even on the desktop side, there's a few issues with some of the builds, I guess.
I have a stupid question. Do other companies do this? I don't hear about like new versions of, like OS X coming out.
Like an insider preview.
Yeah.
They do a beta program.
Okay. Is it as open as Microsoft?
I think it's open to 1 million people. I can't remember. I mean, they do an iOS one as well. So pretty much, yeah, they've got a phone and a desktop beta program for the users. It used to be just limited to developers. You had to pay $99 a year to get into it for the iOS. I guess it's the same for Mac. But yeah, you can get in as a normal person now and test out their builds. I don't know if they get them as frequently, but then again, we don't get them very frequently either. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's in the best interest of companies to make their best product. So I don't think insider programs should cost money.
No, yeah, the public beta program's free for OS X and iOS. It's just before it was for developers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Well, I was just curious because I've seen that it's just there's such a massive amount of news about Windows 10. It's like every little change, every single leak, it's just covered, and it's impressive, but it's I just wonder how common that is with other stuff. So it's pretty cool.
I think 9 to 5 Mac are all over it. Every build they talk about all the new changes in the new beta stuff. So it's not an uncommon thing.
We could just ask someone. We do have connections over there.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I'm using the new Mac right now. The unreleased iPhone 7 right here.
Yeah, exactly. Sure he is. I know. Anyway, so that's probably it for like the staggered launch there. So the next story we have is the Microsoft merchandise store, which ships internationally, Zach. They can ship you things.
This is great, and it's really cool because if you're a super big geek like the majority of us here at WinBeta, you can now buy geeky stuff that Microsoft wear at their conferences and whatnot. So let's see. They've got T-shirts. They've got cups. They've got English buffer toffee gift boxes. They've got ballpoint starters and multi-starters pens. They have everything. You've got little plushy toys. They got
some of the most ridiculous things here that have nothing to do with Mike. They got maternity tops.
They got many things here. Actually, where's the link for it? Oh, there it is. So I'm actually going to shop live. Let's shop live.
It's pretty fun, man. I tell you what?
It's the company store, so I'm not entirely sure if this is limited to employees only. I don't think it is. Sean says they're not.
Well, our article says they're not. I haven't ordered anything through them. They said that while it says company store, you can order.
There's a whole category on Geek. You can buy a T-shirt with a commented "no" on it.
Yep, there you go. I really like. We'll see here. If you look, there's the Cortana T-shirt that was it Joe that wore that a few years ago?
Yeah.
And so that's great. That's there. They have some clever wordplay. Like, if you look, it's actually quite well branded. I hope that I can order these things. If not, I'll be very upset. If it's a closed store, they shouldn't have this link be public. They should somehow do that privately.
There's a Geek Motherboard T-shirt.
There you go. You can get an Office shirt in Office gray, an Excel shirt in Excel green, a Word shirt in Word blue, and the Word one has the Word logo and says up. So it's Word up. It's pretty clever. Let's see what else. They had this really nice Surface shirt. Actually, honestly, I think I'm going to get this for my girlfriend. It's It's fitted, so it's for women, and it's just this great two-tone shirt. And this might not mean a lot to people, but if you're like a Microsoft fan and you kind of want to dress like it, like a Windows hipster, here we go, maternity top, and it says "Future Geek," and there's an arrow towards your child. And those are just the T-shirts, folks. What have you found, Zach?
I found a cool mug, a Surface mug.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
It says Surface. There's two. Surface. Oh, no, it's one. Just
they got sweatshirts and fleeces too. The mugs.
They have a bunch of stuff. It's pretty cool. But I mean, it's great if you're in the US because shipping, that would be that much. But I tried to buy stickers from here, the Ninja Cat stickers from here once. $3 stickers, not too expensive. You go through the checkout process and then you get them at. Shipping is $73. So I stopped.
Some of the I actually feel like half a Windows journalist when I don't have one of those Ninja Cat stickers. I almost feel like I have to. Like it's I'm not really like a professional writer unless
they're asking for the link. We have the link. Actually, I'll post it in the live comments.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I like this. I if someone finds out if you can order, I mean, obviously we're doing kind of a live podcast right now.
I can't send links even as the video host. Okay, that's great. It's on the article's on the website. Check it out.
Yeah. Some of these, it's funny. They have like nothing to do with Microsoft. I think they just like paid someone to like have a nice shirt and they just put a logo on. Like there's one here. You have. I can't even like see. I can't even read the logo unless you like put it right to your face.
Tino says, "I bet these t-shirts have some pull on them." You bet you can get all the ladies with these t-shirts.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'll probably get this for Leah, and she'll probably say, "Are you trying to brand me as Microsoft? What are you doing?"
It's the only way I'll love you.
I did that, or no, sorry, she did the article, but I posted it, but she wrote it. All these comments told me to marry her because she liked Windows Phone. That was like the only. They're wifer. She likes Windows Phone. Wife her hard, and I'm like, that's the only requirement.
It's a rarity because my girlfriend didn't like Windows Phone.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's great for a lot of reasons. I just think that's a really weird like criteria. Now, don't get me wrong. Like when it's something you care about, and then your significant other cares about it too, it is nice. But it's really funny that they were like, marry her, and I'm like,
when
maybe
she asked like 10 years later, why did you want to marry me? You liked Windows Phone.
Yeah, my kids will come up and they'll get on my knee and say, Daddy, why did you marry Mommy? I say, well, son, one weekend she tried out my Lumia 640.
And she loved it.
And she loved it. And 10 years later, here we are.
Yeah. With 9 kids. Okay, I was going for a large number there, so I stopped.
Let's calm down there.
I was going to say 930 kids, but then I thought that's even worse. So I stopped.
Plus 930 kids. That's not great. 10, Windows 10.
Yeah, the definitive version.
Yes, exactly. Finalized. No, some poor bloke. He's tried to name his kids after Windows. You're 95. You're Vista. You're ME.
You're 10.
You're 10.
You probably have better luck naming after the code names. So, Whistler,
you're Redstone,
Blackcomb, Vienna, Longhorn. They're more like names. Redstone, Blue.
There you go.
Blue's an actual name. You can actually name a kid Blue.
Blue? That's not a name.
That's a name. If April's a name, Blue's a name.
I've always wondered some of the things. It's like some adjectives a word like honesty, and you're like, charity,
diamond.
But then actually there's a basketball player for the University of Maryland. His name Diamond Stone. That's his name.
Vista is the worst son. Vista acted up the most. Yes, he was mostly bad behaved.
And Windows 9 went missing.
Oh God! Wow, this took a dark turn. Windows 9 just never made it.
Well, we somehow got there from a merchandise store. I like Microsoft stuff. I'm not naming a kid after them, and I'm not basing my marital patterns off of Windows Phone. But I really do appreciate you guys being so passionate about the platform, and I'm sure those in Redmond do as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we getting back on track here? Sorry, we got a message from our coworkers just listening to the podcast.
I always have to sign out because it makes a noise. What is that?
I have headphones on, so no one hears the noise. Win32 apps on Windows 10 to try to get a straight face back here. So I wrote an article
Back
this
on
week.
track here.
Yeah, sorry, serious. Sean's very serious. I wrote an article this week on Win32 apps on the Windows 10 platform, kind of what they expounded at one of their sessions at Build, and it's worth pointing out some of the things that they said. Let me see here. So obviously we know a lot of these things, like when they import their code, they can get access to things like Cortana and other things, but that's not really what this was talking about. This is talking about AppX and how they want to get more developers onto AppX, how they want it to be kind of the be-all, end-all. What was it? They said they'd like it to be the, quote, ultimate installer across Windows. So they really want developers of Win32 apps, which I find it easier to call them programs. Is that right, Zach? Is that still right to call them a program?
Just programs.
Because to me, if you use the word app in both of them, it's kind of confusing. But in any event, so program developers can take their code, put it in there. They want them to use AppX. And the reason that they want that is cleaner installs and uninstalls. They kind of want to get developers out of things like the kernel. They don't really want developers messing with a lot of the stuff that they kind of view isn't necessary for a developer. I know that some people are frustrated about that because there's a little bit of closed access. But I actually, as a user, I don't really always want programs messing with my computer. And then if you don't like it, one of the things that if you don't like a program and you uninstall it, they said it's almost completely impossible to eliminate every trace of a program when you uninstall it. And they said some developers don't even try. So there's just leftover junk on your computer. And when it's through the App Store and when it's through this type of software that they're talking about, you can just uninstall and it's gone. And I think that's quite nice, or fairly nice, as Zach would say. So there's a few downsides to this. I mean, I've seen the comments. This is a very heated topic. Feel free to go back there and jump back in, folks. There's probably over 160 comments, I think, just on this topic from our readers. And so they get pretty passionate. So I understand that some people don't like Sandbox. They've tried to assure people that it's not running in that type of way. It says, they pointed out, this news model does not make apps run in the sandbox, which some developers fear. So ultimately, I think this is a good model. I don't know if everyone's going to adopt it, and we'll get into why in that in a sec. But before we get into all the specific reasons, do you think developers are going to make the switch, Zach?
Well, yeah, I do. Well, it always depends on whether Windows 10 takes off. If it takes off, absolutely. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you get your app in a Windows store, which is on the forefront of Windows. It's on the taskbar. It's in the start menu. Easily accessible. Users will go there for apps. If your app's in there, it's only going to be good for you, regardless of if it's a program desktop 32 app, or a Windows app, or a universal app, or other app, whatever else. If Windows 10 kicks off, your app developers will want their apps in the store, and that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think from a user perspective, you want a universal store. I mean, what we want, what I want. Maybe some people don't want this, and I don't want to put words in their mouth or on their fingertips. But for me, I would love a place where you sit there and it's just one store, and you say, all my apps are here, and it's easy to find, easy to search. You know, they feature different things throughout the day or throughout the various days. And then if they want to include things like movie and music, great. I'm okay if those are different stores, to be honest. I don't really care if movies are in the same store as apps. But I just want it to be easy to find. And it's really cool when you can just click like new and rising apps or featured apps, or the top 10 apps or whatever, top apps, top free, top paid. And when they bring in some of these programs, you're going to find those a lot easier. So there might be, I find programs all the time that I just love and wish. I found an app the other day that it honestly, I don't want to sound too dramatic, but it could change the way I use my computer, because it lets my phone, I actually don't have it on this phone, but it has my phone via remote, and you can move your thumb around, move the mouse around on there. It has access buttons for Netflix and all the other media that not all, but most of the media that I use. And it's really easy. I can even restart my computer through the app. Just like you can use your phone as a remote. The way I found that was in the App Store for Windows Phone. I don't think I'd ever find that application if it was just some program that someone made that I hadn't heard of. And so, from a user perspective, I think it's be much easier to find these things.
Yeah.
But the downside is, I actually don't know these revenue numbers to be verified. But developers are going to lose some money if they do this. Is that true?
I don't know.
Because don't they have to pay if they have an app in the App Store?
Oh yeah, the share goes to Microsoft. Yeah, but that's with every app store. So
is it 30%? That seems high.
I think it's actually. Right? I think they put it up recently. I remember.
So
I remember it was the cheapest in the industry at one point. I don't know now. I wrote about it a long time ago. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, no, you're right. If you put your app in the store, it does. Microsoft do get a cut of it, so they will technically lose out on a bit of money. But to be fair, when you measure it in the whole, but there's more users than Windows 10, therefore we'll make the money back in the long run, etc., etc.
That's the goal. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think some will sit there and say, if you're an established name already, you might sit there and say, "Oh, I really don't want."
Yeah.
I really don't want that, because I already made a name for myself. But I think for a lot of people, it's going to be.
Also, this isn't going to happen overnight. Developers aren't just going to, on the day of Windows 10's release, they're just going to go, okay, making apps, all of our current apps are going in the store. That's not going to happen. This is going to take a while. So
yeah.
I would update to Windows 10 straight away because all your current apps will work on Windows 10 regardless. But if you're expecting developers to have ready apps in the store on day one, you should probably lower your expectations.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is going to take some time, and I think that's fine. I mean, I know it's not a direct comparison because now there are two in the market instead of one. But when Android came out, it took a while for them to completely stabilize.
Yeah.
Let me just say, for those asking in the comment section, it's called PC Remote Pro. If you want to look them up, because there have been quite a few questions about that. So there you go. There's that. Yeah, I think a lot of people will adopt this. I don't think anything's going to be perfect. I don't know if you're ever going to have something that has absolutely everything you want. But I don't think you should be that upset about the idea that some developers are going to choose to do this. And I don't think people understand, additionally, the app gap that I see isn't for every big name. There are some out there. There are some banks. There's Snapchat. There's other things like that where people might say, that's really important to me. And I understand that. But some of it's a concert or something you go to has an app, and it's only on iOS and Android. And having things like porting iOS, Android code, or in different situations, Win32, it's going to give you it's going to just fill a few more of those holes. There's a documentary conference or like a festival up in Sheffield, just pretty close to me. And I can almost guarantee that they're only going to have an app on iOS and Android. And so in that situation, porting iOS code would be great. It's not a heavy featured app. It's just what's coming up next, schedule, live, map, that sort of stuff. I think it's great if you get that. Well, that's for phones. Win32 is going to help desktops and tablets. And I think that this could really be a good thing for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that.
I mean,
so there's my...
with the whole Android and iOS porting to Windows Phone, I just hope Twitter port their Android app to Windows Phone. Because the current Windows Phone app's sad.
We've gotten into this before, Zach. I'm telling you, there are two great
I'm not using the third-party apps. I don't have anything against the people who make them or anything. I just don't use third-party apps. I just can't be at home with them.
He's going to be here, and he's going to talk to you. And we're going to have all the comments are going to talk about him. We're going to have to hide him.
Just don't remind him. Don't remind anyone. I'll just pretend I use it and no one has to talk about it. Let's move on, please. Next story.
Next story. Well, yeah, fine. Next story's your cool.
Let's talk about the new Edge logo because everybody loves it and everybody hates it. People are complaining that it's too familiar to the E logo from Internet Explorer, which, hello guys, it's supposed to be. That's kind of the whole point. It's familiar, which is what Microsoft wants. Joe Belfiore said it on stage. He said, so in the new version of Windows 10, I'm going to come down to the taskbar and click on the familiar E icon. Because everybody's grandma, I guess, knows what the E icon does. It stands for Internet, which begins with an I, weirdly enough. But there you go. It
stands for Explorer
Internet.
And Edge.
So you click on it and you open up Spartan and you're using Spartan. And that's kind of the whole idea. So it doesn't, air quotes, alienate people who know what the E stands for. And I mean, it's going to be, oh yeah, it's just a new version. This is what it looks like now. Just get used to it. You're on Windows 10.
Well, yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I mean, we did a poll, and I believe many people didn't like the logo. So I mean, I guess it'll grow on you unless you're a Chrome user, which you just probably go to Chrome regardless. But
You said that was such contempt. You go to Chrome regardless.
About the Edge logo. Yeah, so out of 1,085 votes, 50% said no, 31% said yes, and 18% said, I don't really care.
I think saying that we're on a website that covers exclusively Microsoft and Windows related news for almost 20% to say they don't care, I think that's pretty indicative.
Yeah, for those who are shouting about the recycle bin icon, when it comes to the E icon, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, to me, I don't think it looks great. Like, let me put it this way. I don't dislike Edge. I'm going to use it. You will hear me rave about it. I almost can guarantee that I'm going to love it. The features just look great. I really like the features and we're actually going to get into those in a little bit on some of the ones that'll be ready this summer. But for me, I don't really care. I'm going to use it regardless. It's nice when an icon looks cool, I guess. I mean, that doesn't mean too much. So I'm trying to think here, some of these icons. I don't know. Do I care that the Skype icon is just an S in blue? Not really. Other programs I use, I don't particularly mind one way or the other, as long as I can tell what it is with the icon, and it's not somehow vulgar or something stupid like that. But yeah, I mean,
the idea of it as well is, I mean, people like you and me and all the techies out there know that Edge is Edge. What are you doing?
I'm trying to test this thing out. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
I'll just keep going.
Have you heard that if you rotate it a certain way, you can see it and spell out the word edge? So this is an E.
I find this highly unlikely.
I don't know if this is true or not, but hold on a sec. Let me get this. Stop. There we go.
Maybe you just made it way worse.
I made it worse.
You need to turn the brightness down on your screen. Let me try it.
Whatever. In any event, so there's an E, and then if you rotate it this way, it's got a D. Then if you rotate it that way, I guess it's kind of a backwards G. That doesn't really help me that much.
Yes.
And then maybe another E.
That's a bit far-fetched. Whoever said that.
And then it's an E upside down as well. So there's two E's in there. That's kind of cool. E. This one kind of looks like a falcon.
That's a bit far-fetched. Whoever said that was probably drunk.
You don't think that was done on purpose?
No, and I've also lost my way. What was I saying? Oh yes, people like all us techies know what Edge is, so we will be. If you like Edge, I guess you'll be using it. But the reason they've used E is because for the normals out there, when they install Windows for the first time or when they get a new computer, they go to the E and then they download Chrome. But I guess Microsoft's hoping that with Windows 10, when they go to the E and find this brand new browser, they don't want to download Chrome.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the plan. Actually, what is it? I think I've read somewhere that 52% people use Explorer anyway. So
yeah, no, it's a high percentage, I believe. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. People don't seem to understand that, like, it's Internet Explorer. You might not like it, but it's still used quite a bit. That's like people might make fun of Bing. Well, that's used a lot. Just by statistics, it's used a lot. And so sometimes people are just like, oh, we hate this or we hate that. And it's like, well, I mean, you might personally dislike it, and that's your choice, obviously, in your opinion. But if 50% of users still use it, then they don't want to change it to some logo of a, I don't know, Master Chief, because then they're going to think that it's something to do with Halo and not an internet browser.
I mean, the one they use for Spartan is just like a wireframe icon of the globe, I guess.
Yeah.
Not very good, I don't think. I prefer the new one. We should also, before we move on to our next story, we should talk about, Space Core points out, the whole B-Sky-B suing Skype. Or the Skype lawsuit, sorry.
That is a good one.
Yeah, we missed that on our thingy, so we should talk about that. Sky hate Microsoft, apparently, because...
they're jerks.
Sky in the past have won court battles with the courts, I guess, about the whole SkyDrive name. They said SkyDrive is too similar to the Sky brand and users could get confused. And now they believe, well, I say now, this has been going on for a while, but the courts finally ruled out that Skype is indeed too similar to Sky. So I'm not sure what's going to go on from here. They might rename Skype, or they might make a deal, I guess, with Sky.
Well, hold on. So this particular case was about, can Skype be trademarked as a name in the European Union?
And it can't.
And it cannot. This particular case is not about, will Microsoft have to change the name of Skype?
What it means is I can use Skype as something, can't I now? Because I'm not very good with all this law stuff.
So yeah, what it really means is that, effectively speaking, Microsoft can't trademark the word Skype right now. So other people, I guess, technically could use it.
Yes. I'm going to make a program called Skype.
Yeah, I guess you could.
It's going to be about not calling people.
And you shouldn't do that, but I suppose legally in the EU you probably could. Just like the Washington Redskins, I think they had a trademark thing, and then South Park made a whole episode about it because it wasn't trademarked. There's implications for that. So in the EU, that's happening. It has not yet extended to the point that they might have to rebrand it. I think it would be ridiculous to have to rebrand Skype because of Sky. I just did a really quick search, so I mean, this isn't guaranteed to be accurate. It's Wikipedia. Oh no, but it says Skype was founded in 2003. So I mean, it's been around for 12 years almost now, and it is pretty ubiquitous with video calling. I mean, you say, it's like people say you Google something, and that's like when you search, that's like Google. Okay, great, it's a verb now. That's Skype. So, I'm going to Skype this person. I'm going to Skype my mom. Okay, great. Everybody knows what that means.
We're using Skype right now.
We are using Skype right now. And so I think that it's just silly. I don't understand why they're doing this. I can understand if Microsoft was trying to make a cable company and they said, we don't want your cable company to have the name Skype because it sounds kind of similar to Sky. But it's video calling. It's not directly competing. So I don't understand.
So does this mean the company Virgin?
Yeah.
Does this mean they can trademark the word Virgin? Have they trademarked Virgin?
I don't know. I mean, to me.
So if I make 40-year-old Virgin a film, could Virgin technically go, you're using our brand name in that? You can't have that name. Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh, you're a virgin? You can't be that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can't be that. That's our brand name. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I
wonder if Virgin. I'm gonna actually find out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just silly. I mean, Sky. I think they just have too much power. If they can really do this, and Microsoft should fight it. I mean, they should. I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. Just get some lawyers together. I mean, they don't have lawyers over at Microsoft that they have to. If they're forced to rebrand it, I actually do think they're going to fight it because I really don't think they should.
I mean, they didn't really fight SkyDrive, but then again, they totally lost that, didn't they?
Well, I think OneDrive is better than SkyDrive.
Yeah, OneDrive. Actually, I was actually supposed to say this when we were talking about the Windows 10 being the last version of Windows. I feel like they missed out not calling it Windows 1. And I know they said we've already done Windows 1, but then again, they've already done the Xbox One. So I feel like they should have called Windows 10 Windows 1 because it's the definitive version. Like
spelled out, like O-N-E? Like
Windows 1.
Ha! And then the headlines could be Windows 1, W-O-N. Ha!
Or Windows 1 is number 1.
See, we just... Oh, come on, guys.
We should be the new marketing team at Microsoft.
We should. Just you and I.
Gus has been just posting everything Sky hates in the comments. He's gone, Sky sues Earth. Sky sues Sky. Sky sues Chrome. No, he didn't say Chrome. What did he say? Sky sues a bunch of different stuff. It was actually quite funny.
Yeah, the Nissan. I call them Nissan, but apparently they're called Nissan. Skyline. Yeah, there's car with Skyline. Can't call that in there.
Sky sues the Sky name for copying. This podcast will be sued because it contains the word Sky.
I don't know. I think it's silly. I don't think they should. But at the moment, we're safe. We're good.
Yeah. We've been saying Sky, but we actually spell it with a C, so S-C-Y. Although that's more Sci, isn't it?
I used to have a car that was a Scion. It was S-C-I-O-N. Her name was Sky. So exactly. You could claim that we were talking about her, maybe.
Exactly.
I don't know.
We're fine in court. We're our own lawyers. It's all right.
You know what? If Sky picks us up and then sues us for using their name, I actually think we'll make more money off of them doing that than if we had to change.
We'll definitely get more publicity.
Yeah,
hey,
I mean,
Sky, please come sue us.
Please come on our show. We will gladly interview you. We will talk to you about brand names, all that sort of stuff. We will come and we'll get tons of hits. I love it. You feel free. Come on in. I'll battle you.
Sky sues Microsoft for the Bliss wallpaper. That's actually pretty funny. Log on off.
That's funny.
Right, moving on before Sky sues everything.
Edge features at RTM.
This is your story, so off you go.
It is my story. It's you know a lot more about this. I've still yet to open Edge, but in any event,
That's true. You haven't even used it.
Nope. No. Anyway, so RTM for Edge, formerly known as Spartan, coming out this. Well, you'd say. I mean, it's already kind of on the previews, but officially it'll be out this summer. Yeah.
Yes, Edge will come out with Windows 10 when Windows 10 RTMs.
And so coming after RTM, you have some of these I have no idea what they are. Extension support, I know what that is. More Cortana scenario, know what that is. Object RTC, no clue. Pointer lock, I have no idea. And many new app and platform features.
Pointer lock allows like the pointer to stay locked, I guess, in the window, just like when you're playing games and stuff. I'm sure that's what it means. I'm sure Team Gnome will be first to correct us because he loves it.
You feel free to let me know what.
He
Object
loves it when we're
RTC
wrong
is.
about stuff. So come on, Team Gnome, tell us what they are.
In any event, it's great because some of these features are going to come out. Some commenters have pointed out that they're already behind with extensions, so they really need to get those up and running now.
Extensions will be the thing that makes people love Edge, and it's a shame they're not coming for RTM really, because I mean they've demoed them working. Then again, that's never really the full story, is it?
So these are features that extensions will not be out when it initially comes out. They'll be coming out later.
Yes.
Right.
So Edge will be there in RTM with Windows 10, so it'll be on the taskbar. You can open it. It will do what it currently does in the current builds, I guess. Cortana, and that's really about it. It has like the annotation stuff, but extension support's coming later, as is more Cortana scenarios and everything else you said. So I wonder what more Cortana scenarios they can add, because I mean it does a fair bit already. It does weather, business info, definitions of words, etc., etc.
Yeah. If only they had a time machine just for like 6 months, and you could just take the tech from 6 months in the future and just use it. That'd be so great.
That'd be a journalist's dream. You just have all the posts ready to go. 6
Oh
months
yeah,
ahead.
embargo. Yeah, right.
6 month embargo. I've noticed. Just set it up as a draft for a while.
Forget about embargo.
That's how I could have a holiday for like a year. Just write everything in one night and just go away.
I got a HoloLens 5 right here.
I'm writing the review for 5 years from now.
If we got a time machine, can you imagine a less useful use for like an actual functional time machine? What do you do? We get versions of Build from next month and then have the videos out early.
I mean, what else would you? I mean, what would you use?
You're not gonna like cure disease? Nah, we're gonna get Windows builds.
Yeah, that'd be me. That'd be me.
Lottery numbers? No, Windows builds.
Anyway. Lottery numbers are my Windows builds.
That's true. That's about right.
They're getting more complicated as the day goes by. So,
to clarify with the extensions, so extensions, it's similar to some of the porting for like the other features that you're seeing in Windows 10. You can use a vast majority of your code for a Chrome extension, right?
Yes, and from
but
Firefox.
You have to make some small tweaks and that sort of thing.
And from Firefox, yes. So if you've got as a developer, if you've got a Firefox or a Chrome extension, you will be able to, much like any normal app, port your extension to Edge with little code changes, I believe. So that's pretty good. I mean, they showed off Pinterest and they showed off the Bing Translator extensions already, which is great.
That's good that Bing works on Microsoft's own browser. That's great. I'm proud of them. But yeah, no, that's a good proof of concept, I suppose. If they literally just used the code, didn't have to change it much. So. Yeah, Team Gnome points out basically Chrome extensions are mostly JavaScript. So I mean, if you can, they can get in there. Great, that's wonderful. And I think it's a good thing because, like I said, you want to be a modern browser, you need some of those extensions.
So I mean, the moral of the story here is that Edge will only get better.
It's true. Remember my article, or I keep saying my article. I think I'm secretly jealous that Leah has an article more successful than anything I've ever done.
Have you explained this in the podcast? I think you have.
Remember Leah's article about, she said, the glory days of Windows. In a few years, it'll pick up. And then the next day, Build happened.
Yeah, and everything kicked off.
Turns out she was right. Let's see here. What else do we have? Other news. Surface 3?
I believe
available?
This is me. Yes, it is.
So that's yours. Yeah, go ahead.
This is me. Guess what came out this week, guys? It was the Surface 3. I'm sure you were surprised about that. But yes, Surface 3 came out this year in the US and in UK and everywhere else in the world. On sale, baseline model is how much? I can find out for you. It's the 64GB model with 2GB of RAM is $499. And
except if you're in the UK, because then it's £419.
Yes, still really expensive, but yeah. And with the 128GB 4GB RAM model is $599. Both without keyboards. Keyboards are separate and obviously bulk up the price. I think the keyboards are like $99 or $120. And if you're going to be buying the Surface 3 as a laptop replacement, which I don't recommend, because it's not really as powerful as the Surface Pro 3, that will obviously bump your price up. And obviously the pen also doesn't come with it, so if you're looking to take notes of the Surface 3, you'll have to buy a pen, which is $50. And if you want a Ninja Sticker Cat thing, you have to buy it from the Microsoft store that we talked about earlier. And if you want a car, you've got to go to a car shop. So yeah. It's the new Surface, and
we saw that, Zach. You were like, "Guess what came out this week? The Surface 3 doesn't have a pen, doesn't come with the keyboard, doesn't do this," and you just like,
and you don't
on second thought, don't buy this device.
No, I'm gonna buy one for no reason. Actually, I might not, but I might get given one actually. So
I think it looks like a nice device.
It's a nice device, yeah. I mean, I'm one of those people who try to find reasons to buy something now because I have a Dell XPS 13. I have a super huge, powerful desktop. I have an Xbox. I have all a million phones. I have to try and justify every time I buy a new thing. Like, why do I need the Surface now? Sean, tell me why I need the Surface.
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend's boss is looking at a new computer, and she really likes the Surface line. Like, she saw mine and was like, "Ooh," but I have a Surface Pro 2, so it's pretty old. The specs on the Surface Pro 2 are about the same in terms of RAM, that sort of thing, as the Surface 3, but the Surface 3 is much thinner, and it doesn't have a fan, right? Surface 3 is fanless?
Yes, it's fanless.
Yeah.
The CPU on the Surface 2 is better than the one on the Surface 3.
Sorry, say that again?
The CPU on the Surface Pro 2 is better than that on the Surface 3.
How
Isn't it a Core i on the Surface 2, Surface Pro 2, and it's only an Atom on the Surface 3.
How much of a jump is that in production?
It depends, because I mean, when was the Surface Pro 2 out? I think it was a couple years ago.
It's been a couple years now.
So it's an old Core i, but I reckon it will still do years better than the Atom that's currently in the Surface 3, because the Surface 3 is nowhere near a powerhouse. It's more like the new MacBook, really. I mean, I guess it's out to compete against that MacBook. But
for her, she would be using it for like multimedia and Office.
If she's video, I wouldn't recommend video editing on the
No, yeah, that's like I mean, to be honest, video editing is even a little difficult on my Surface Pro 2.
Yeah.
So I think definitely the setup, you'd need something higher. I don't have like the highest version of the Surface Pro 2 either, so yeah, I'm sure could.
Are you gonna upgrade to the Surface Pro 4?
If I like, will I? Should I?
Or did you like the Surface Pro 3?
Let's just say I have other expenses that will be higher prioritized.
Saving up for an Xbox One.
That's one of the things I'm saving up for, yes. And so I think that I really like the Surface Pro 3. I like how thin it is. The form factor, I like the size. The bezels on the Surface Pro 2 are actually pretty big. So the 12-inch screen on a Surface Pro 3, even though it's 2 inches bigger of screen size, or maybe about 1.5, 2 inches bigger on screen size, the bezels aren't as big, so it's not like huge in comparison. And so I like the form factor of the Surface Pro 3. So I'll look at the 4. It's probably going to be out of my price range, but I'd be very interested.
Maybe if they made a more powerful Surface 3, would you take that? I mean, you don't do much video editing, do you?
If I'm going to drop that much money on a device, it's going to have to be able to do video editing.
Right, yeah, I guess you're right.
That's what I said. Like when I bought the Surface Pro 2, video editing meant nothing to me. I'd never even opened up Adobe Premiere Pro, but now I need it for work and school. So
would you buy a new laptop over a Surface, or would you never go back to a full blown laptop?
I think it depends. I mean, like I said, my job and my university studies are becoming more and more power hungry. Yeah. So I don't know. If I got like a i7 Surface Pro 3 or 4, whatever they come out, I don't think I would really need it that much. I mean, I could probably do some light video editing on like i7 Surface Pro 3, yeah? I mean, that would be a
normal amount of editing, I'd imagine.
i7, you really go pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
at least
it
for me,
wouldn't do 4K editing, I don't think, but I mean, you could.
but not for you. But for me, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, you'd be fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, especially with the 4, which could be better than the 3. Then yeah.
Yeah.
Team Doses i7's 5820K. So yeah, there you go.
I know. That's just a CPU model.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm stupid now. Team Gnome, lead me astray. I trust you.
Wait, I bet I'm wrong. No, I'm not. I know it's the CPU model. Anyway, moving on. Yeah.
Anyway.
I had the Surface Pro 3 as Microsoft gave it to me to review a long time ago, and they started for me like 7 days later. But I loved it. I really did like it, and I would have held on to that baby forever. But
you don't get to keep those review devices, do you?
not the. I get the phones, not the actual good stuff. I'm joking. The phones are good stuff. I liked it, but now I've got an XPS. I kind of don't see the point in the Surface Pro because it's not it's more. I wrote about this in my review as well when I wrote about it. It's kind of inconvenient as a laptop. Like, it's a bit more awkward, and then at the end of the day you just think about why don't I just buy a laptop? It's just easier.
Well, I think for me, it depends if you. I know that's silly, but if you literally mean a laptop is something that can be used on top of your lap. Excuse me. Sorry, comment section. Very funny.
I knew that's what you stopped at.
In any event.
Damn it, team, though.
If a laptop is literally something that you want to put on your lap and use it there, then I actually agree the Surface line is not perfect for that. Actually, Sean Cameron wrote an article about that today, about what the Surface Pro 4 would need to go fully mainstream, and he basically said
it needs to be a laptop.
Well, he basically, yeah, in addition to the optional type cover, one of the options would be like a laptop type cover, I guess. And I agree.
I reckon they could actually do it with the type cover, because I mean, as a laptop, all you need is a stiff hinge.
Yeah, that's really the only difference.
So I reckon they could make a type cover that just has a stiff hinge. And
he basically wanted you to take all the internals in the actual Surface Pro 3 itself, or Surface Pro 4 itself, and then just have like the bottom half of a laptop that you could attach it to.
Yeah,
I actually think that'd be great.
I reckon, and even in in a quick case scenario, I guess they could just have a type cover that's a bit thicker and has like a battery in it, so it extends the battery life, and have the Surface being the normal Surface Pro 4, and just having a stiff hinge on the type cover for it to just add more. I mean, it'll be a thick laptop, I guess, but it'll be a Surface laptop in a sense.
Well, they have the power cover for the Surface.
It could be a laptop that turns into a normal tablet hybrid thing.
Right. Well, basically, what we were talking about was because Sean and I were talking about it at work today, and I said, yeah, basically like the internals and everything would be in the Surface Pro itself, and then you can just dock it to different things. So if you have it by yourself, it's a tablet. With a type cover, it's kind of like a 2-in-1 tablet with a keyboard, but it also has the power of a laptop. And then you do the laptop dock, and it's a clamshell.
Yeah.
And then do the docking station, and it's a monitor, and it's a desktop. Then you have one device that's everything from tablet to desktop.
There's that keyword again. One device.
Yes, one. We get it. You want it to be Windows 1.
They should have a Surface 1 running Windows 1 with one drive and Xbox One and Lumia 1 and everything.
You know what? They could just rebrand Skype as One.
One.
I won them. I won them.
I won them. That's like saying I won the girl. I won the girl on one.
Sounds like an ad campaign already.
That gets so confusing. How old are you today? One? No. How old are you?
In any event, do we have any other news this week?
Don't think so. I think that's everything.
We
had MS Ignite was a thing, but nothing new came out of that really.
Kip's there.
They announced. Kip was there. Is he still there?
He was at an airport today, so I think he's coming home.
He's had a long 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, he was at a Build and then Ignite. That's pretty crazy.
Joseph was at Ignite as well, I think.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what was I going to say? Yeah, MS Ignite wasn't really that great for news stories. They announced a Windows update for business. They also released a new server build, which I know a lot of people were shocked at. And that's all the top of my head. What else? They demoed Windows Hello again, which is pretty great. You take off I'm actually excited for Windows Hello. I'm very excited.
Yeah. There's some rumors about flagships. Is that news? I mean, it's not. It hasn't happened
I
yet.
think we talked about that already, didn't we?
Did we? Okay.
Oh, maybe we didn't. If not,
No, I don't think we did.
let's talk about. We have to talk about it now. Quick, have you got the details up?
I don't.
All right. Well, there's two new rumored devices. The Lumia. I don't know if they've got code names, but there's a Lumia Lumia 940 and a 940 XL. One will be octa-core. Oh, actually, Sean, get the details up. They'll both be QHD devices. That's what I know. That's what the rumors say, at least. 20 megapixel pure view camera, which was great because I mean, what's the 930 has a 20 megapixel one as well, I think. Yes, Pure View Zeiss 20 megapixel, which is a great shooter. I think it's one of the best cameras you can get on a device today. So
you talking about the 930s?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, it's great. Yeah, I love it.
Wicked camera. I mean, it's not as amazing as the 41 megapixel camera, but I don't think they're going to keep doing that because that was kind of like a one-off. I mean, we've not seen any rumored devices with a 41 megapixel Zeiss shooter.
Unless they could cram it into the same form factor. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm excited for these rumored devices, though. Have you got the details up?
I don't.
Can you
Sorry.
not find them?
That's just me trying to scramble. I'm sure if I had it earlier, I could have found it.
I read. I think they're either hexa-core or octa-core processors, which is pretty fantastic.
It's pretty.
Yeah, and I think I covered most of it. QHD screen, like I said, 5.2 inch or 5.9 inch for the Plus, because there'll be a 940 and a 940 XL. So the 940 will be the 5.2, and the 940 XL will be the 5.9.
So I have the details.
Go on in. Just clarify what I said.
These are reports that are rumors.
They are rumors. So
hopefully these are true because these specs are pretty cool. First in device, codenamed Cityman, which comes with probably the successor to the 1520. Massive 5.7 inch display, QHD resolution of 2560 by 1440, octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon processor paired with 3 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of internal storage. Allegedly also has a feature for micro SD card slot, 20 megapixel rear camera, 5 megapixel front facing camera, and a massive 3300 milliamp hour battery, which would be more than very nice. What's like 3 steps up from fairly nice? Fantastic?
Yeah, fantastic.
Downright lovely?
Jolly good.
Yes, jolly good. You don't break that out often. And this is the second is a device codenamed Talkman, which is a silly code name. Looks like it'd be the successor to the 930, but we're not sure, obviously. 5.2 inch QHD display. These are all rumors again. 3 gigabytes of RAM, 6-core Snapdragon processor. So that's hexa-core, right? That's a hex 6, yes. 20 megabyte main camera, 20 megapixel rear camera, 5 megapixel front camera, and a 3000 milliamp hour battery. So those are some pretty tremendous.
They should both be 940 variants. So like the 640 has a 640 and an XL. I think this is all that is.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So the bigger one will be the XL version, which
I might still it's kind of the successor to the 1520, but it'll get a new number system.
Yeah, I could do it 1530, I guess. I haven't had a 30, have we? No.
Yeah, it also says that the report mentions, this is again rumors, that Microsoft will reveal a new Windows 10 feature for phones, which will be similar to Handoff on iOS, allowing users to answer Windows phone calls on their Windows PC.
Yeah, we knew that was coming for a while.
These rumors
demoed messaging from the desktop.
Yeah. Well, my point is that these rumors have some credence because some of them do seem true, but obviously they could be wrong, or they could be, maybe they were accurate at one time and things have since changed. But I think those specs would be amazing if that's what we got.
Yeah, but I bet there'll be a ton of money as well.
My question for you, Zach, is will the edge of a screen also be a screen? Because apparently that's what you need to be a flagship device these days.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, I reckon it'll be all screen, like just all around.
The whole thing is a screen. You know who'd make a lot of money?
Me? Who?
First person to figure out how to make your normal phone screen, and then you press a button, and it also is like an e-reader, e-ink screen.
I'm pretty sure I saw a device that on the back is an e-ink screen.
Well, that's just silly.
It's a normal screen.
You figure out how to make it one screen, and I'll look into it.
Well,
Chop, chop. Chip, chop, chip. You get on that right now.
I think that's wrapping up today's podcast. That was actually a good one. I like that. I like this podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was fun. It was a little longer, but we had a lot of news, which it was funny because at first I thought we didn't, but it was pretty stacked week with some of these.
We had a couple stories that just appeared.
Yeah, my fault. So in any event, there you go. This has been the podcast for the week of May 8th, 2015. I am one of your hosts, Sean Michael. You can find me on Twitter at Sean_Michael_UK, and the other host is Zach,
which is me, and you can find me at ZachB_ on Twitter.
Oh, you might have to change. I think I may have had a typo when I initially sent out the live thing. You might have to change that. Go back. So it's at ZachB_.
Yes. What did you say?
Okay. I just think I just add Zach_. Some dude just got like 50 followers, and he's like, "Who are all these people asking me about Windows?"
What a bunch of geeks.
Yeah. Nerd.
Well, thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, listening. You can also follow at WinBeta.org, and that's spelled out, so it's at WinBeta.org for all the latest Windows and Microsoft related news. And again, thank you very much for listening. We will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.